So, and for everyone who's joining us today, and will be joining us later online, we are hosting Nirada. He'll be teaching a seminar on how to distribute books, and he's very qualified for that service. He's been a veteran book distributor in our society, traveling, teaching about book distribution, preaching for several decades at this point. He used to serve as the ISKCON book distribution minister before His Grace Vijay Prabhu. And I think, apart from so many things, his life is a testimony of really the spirit of book distribution. It's like the embodiment of it. That's what I think, at least. And that's one thing I'd like to take away from just having his presence here, is that he's an excellent book distributor, but also he really imbibes the spirit of a preacher. It's something that he does, and that's just something that's a part of him. So we hope to learn many things from you from this seminar. Thank you for joining us.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you for showing up.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, anything that you want to share, you have to feel strongly about it. You got to have a burden. You got to have something that you want to communicate. Because people have only one question on their mind. Formerly, they had 3 questions. The 3 questions were: who are you? What's this book? And what's in it for me? Now, I know all of you have photographic memory. For those who don't, Prabhupada said to remember means to write it down. So if you want to remember anything in life, write it down. Record it, but also write it down. So formerly people were interested in where you are, what's your book, but now it's just the bottom line. What's in it for me? What do I get out of this, right? Did you bring the goods? Do you have what I want? So what is your message in 1 word or less? What is it that you would like to communicate with the people? In 1 word or less. Say something different. All of Krishna is everything. Joy.
Takes this gift.
Gift.
Transcendence.
Transcendence.
Devotion.
Devotion.
Ecstasy.
Ecstasy.
Chant Hare Krishna, be happy.
Happiness.
Freedom.
Freedom. Okay, I buy it. What about love? What about friendship? What about, all that good stuff? People are looking for it. They're going through life looking for these things because they know that's what life is all about. Inherently, they know. But you can't buy it on Amazon. You can't get it at the mall. You can't get it down on the beach walk, in the store, in the restaurant. And so our message is to connect them again to that Lord of the heart. Everything is already there in their heart. So if you can convey that point in a few moments, that there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to buy, it's already all there in you. And this process will help you to rediscover what you already had in yourself. People are actually quite relieved because they realize it's not something external, it's not something complicated, it's something very natural. So Sankirtan is what works. For you, as newcomers, it might be a little frightening. Oh, I gotta go out and face the music, face the world, face myself, right? It might sound a little angstful, it sounds a little frightening, but actually it's not, because you can go on Sankirtan and just be like childlike, like you're just going for a walk, you're just meeting friends, you're just cracking jokes and having a laugh, and just like friends amongst themselves. When Krishna and the Kaur boys were eating lunch, they were just tossing around their lunch bags and cracking jokes and eating each other's, sampling each other's food, throwing food around. They were just having a ball. They were just enjoying themselves. So if people see that you're in that mood, you're not like the preacher man who is now come to tell you how it is. Okay, son, are you ready for the message? All right? Okay. It's going to hurt a little bit, but I will get that book down your throat somehow, one way or the other. And your money will be mine. Then people are a little reluctant. They back off. They're a little guarded. But when they see this a person who's just jolly, who's just happy in their own life, then they're like, hey, dude, what is it that makes you you? What makes you tick? What makes you so crazy or ecstatic or blissful. And then they want to have what you have, which is a much better premise than looking at you and going like, whoa, dude, I don't want nothing to do with whatever it is that you're about to tell me. And you've had that experience, right? Where people like just visually trying to avoid you, or other times people, when you're in a Krishna conscious state of mind, people quote like, hey dude, I want what you have. I want to become like you. They may not be able to admit, they may not be able to say or to communicate it in that way, but basically that's what they mean. So, then we give them the ticket, the VIP ticket. This is the VIP ticket to the spiritual world, to the process of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada came with the Bhagavatam in the first canto, this very same book, actually part 1, 2, and 3. And that's how he started the spiritual revolution. With basically one book in 3 volumes. And we have these books, they're available. Books are container, they contain seeds. You know, seeds are very powerful. You can drop a seed on a building, it will rip the building to shreds. Have you been to Angkor Wat in Cambodia? Angkor Wat? Never been. You grew up here. Okay. It's probably the biggest temple structure on the planet, and it's crumbling. Have you ever seen Tomb Raider? Lara Croft? No, you're not into movies, you're not into games. You're all good monks. So anyhow, big, huge temple structures totally crumbling because trees are growing all over the place. Huh? And as you can see here in the neighborhood, trees, they can rip open concrete, right? They can destroy anything. Because, why? Because Jiva, the soul, is much stronger than matter. Because it's consciousness, it's mind over matter, and it's soul over mind. So this hierarchy is explained in the Bhagavatam and in the Gita, how it works. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego, and then the soul. And once you have that knowledge, basically, it makes it very easy to connect with people and to share this message. But first, you have to understand you can only give what you got. If you don't have it, you can't deliver it. So our first and foremost business is to accept it, to receive it open-hearted. That's why we get up early, take a bath, we chant Hare Krishna, we read the books, so that when you go out, you actually have something to give. Otherwise, you just be shooting blanks, you know? But there's no impact. Like, you know, people go like, okay, so what? You know, duh. It just doesn't really hit the spot. But if you actually have a spiritual practice, you can just look at people and they go like, whoa, dude, you're intense, you know, like, whoa. Huh? You can, even without speaking, you can actually make connection. And you can, like, create that vortex where you just draw people. And we're not into manipulation or, you know, or trying to coerce people into doing something that they don't want to do. But Krishna is all attractive. And so if a devotee is Krishna conscious, he also exemplifies that attractiveness to a certain degree. That's why the pure devotees, they're very attractive, because they're very Krishna conscious, and that's very attractive. It's not a matter of, you know, mundane beauty or mundane intelligence or all of that, or erudition or delivery. No, it's a matter of purity. It's a matter of the heart. So people are looking for beauty, wealth, knowledge, fame, strength, and even renunciation. So these are admirable qualities. Where will they find them? They find them right here, in a small capsule form, in you, and definitely in their original state in these books. So, what's the message of the day? You gotta apply yourself to the process. There's no shortcut. It's not like going out and just, you know, flipping cars or houses or selling stuff on the internet. You have to be authentic, because people, they take one look at you and then they look at the book and they look at you, and if the two don't match, it's no go. Sometimes they have their wallet out, you know, and they look at the book and they look at you, and then, they put the wallet back in and walk away. Have you noticed? Have you seen? Why? Because Krishna in their heart tells them, nah, he's a cheater. Now, why would Krishna, in God's name, tell them not to take the book? Any idea? Any suggestions? work.
The devotee will try harder, purify himself.
Yes, because Krishna is concerned about our consciousness, about our purity. Krishna is not worried. He's not canvassing for president, you know. He is God. He's concerned about us being the proper frame of mind. Don't worry, that other person will get their book, but not from you. They'll get it from somebody else. Oftentimes you have people, they walk up to you, they hand you the money, they take the book, and they walk, I'm like, hey dude, I want to give you my little talk. And they're like, no, somebody already did all the talking, you know, here. No. Now sometimes, and you're okay with that, right? You're cool with that, people handing you money and picking up books. But sometimes you do all the work and somebody else gets all the credit. Is that okay also? That should be okay too, right? So that means paying it forward. It means I'm not a result junkie. I'm not here for a quick fix to make a buck, but I'm here to make an impression, to have impact. And in order to have impact, you have to understand who's my audience. Who am I talking to? Because audience varies. So according to the audience, you lose an approach, you use language, you use examples, you have a different presentation. Now, how does that happen? Well, it comes by practice, by experience, and also by inspiration. Because Krishna is there in your heart. And he tells you when to back off and when to step up your game. Externally, you may never know. But Krishna is there in your heart, and he's ready to guide you like he was guiding Arjuna's chariot. And he was taking exactly where the action was happening. And in this way, he won. Sounds pretty cool, right? Sounds pretty easy. Well, in one sense it is, and in one sense it isn't, because it's still a battlefield, and there's still a lot of stuff going on, and it's still pretty scary. And people are in all kinds of states. So, my simple advice to you is find somebody who's experienced, go with them, carry their books, watch them, hear them, take note of it, and then you emulate it, and you'll see some stuff works, some stuff doesn't work, some things need to be adapted, changed, and then after a while you come up with your own presentation. You start jamming, you start making up your own storyline. And then it's a little less mechanical, a little less repetitive. It becomes a bit more fluent. It becomes a bit more inspirational. Because people are looking for that authenticity. They don't want to have some robot, you know, who just spits out, you know, like you go around Govardhan and you have these loudspeakers who say, you know, pain bomb, 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 or bangles, you know, 5 rupee, 5 rupee, 5 rupee, 5 rupee, 5 rupee, you know. It's like, you're not a robot, otherwise.
On the train, they say chai.
Huh?
I remember on the train, they say, walk up and down saying chai, chai.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to actually mean what you say and say what you mean, put a little heart into it, and then people, it will connect. They will actually get it. The first person Prabhupada saw when he came to America, anybody knows? It was a Coast Guard off Boston Harbor. And he was on his little boat, and Prabhupada was on the Jaladuta, and Prabhupada was just smiling and waving at him. And the Coast Guard was waving at Prabhupada. 4 years later, he became a devotee. Later, he took sannyas. Why? Because he waved at Prabhupada. Prabhupada had such an intense meditation, such an intense focus and sadhana that, have you ever taken the light of the sun and taken a magnifying glass and then burned holes in paper or chased ants or done whatever, you know, young boys do in their frivolous stupidity? So, if you practice your mantra, it's like Dhruva Maharaj standing in Madhuban in Vrindavan on one leg chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The entire universe was choking. People were feeling the weight of his tapasya, of his chanting. And the whole universe shook up. So if you're intense in your bhajan, in your japa, then people cannot just walk past you. They can't ignore you because there will be some effect. There will be some pull. Have you ever watched the guys who go fishing? Huh? So you see, they got the whole toolbox, right? They bring out all the toys. So they have different hooks and different types of things. So in a similar way, you just collect mantras. You just collect different hooks. So the most powerful punctuation mark in any language is the Question mark. You can hook people with question. A question mark looks like what? Hook. Very good. Thank you. Like a hook. Yeah, right. So people want to walk by, and then you ask them, "Do you work out or you just drink a lot of water?" "Oh, you talk about my body? Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to you, dude. Hey, you talked about what's most dear to me, you know?" Sometimes I ask them, "You just, do you work out or you just eat a lot, or you can say whatever, but if you're relaxed and you're actually funny and you're actually nice, people, they connect, Empathy is the only language everybody can relate to. It's not about using big words and doing big talk. It's about actually tuning into their frequency. And that's what Prabhupada did when he came, So he had to translate this most esoteric, highest level knowledge to communicate to an audience that was clearly not in their proper frame of mind. But he did it through kirtan, through prasad, through his Gita classes, through the books, but most foremost through his endless patience, compassion, and love. People don't care how much you know till they know that you actually care. They want to know, do you actually care about me, or are you just out here to sell your stuff? And once you're past that point, then it's very easy. So these are some reflections. I'm not here to do much monologue. I'd like to know from you. What's your interest? What are your questions? And we'll make it a little more interactive. Yes?
My biggest problem is my personal mind gets in the way of what Krishna wants me to do, what to happen. So I just sort of have to take my mind away and let the process itself, whatever it may become.
Yes.
That's what I found to be true.
Absolutely. You have to take yourself out of the center, then Krishna can take center stage and do the magic. But as long as it's about me and I'm the dude, then some people will say, well, maybe not, So, but Krishna is all attractive. So having that humility to step out of the center and to let Krishna do the magic is actually the secret in Sankirtan. You just got to step out of the center. And I know it sounds hard, especially in this great country where, narcissism and expediency are the two main tattoos on everybody's mindset. So, but it is very attractive. If you meet a capable person who at the same time is actually humble and self-effacing and has got some true sense of humor and joy of life, it's very attractive. So that's a very good start. It's a very good strategy. But you'll still have to be Krishna's instrument, which means you still have to say something, and, it doesn't just go automatic. You have to actually make that connection. And of course the mind tries to jump in at different stages, and voice its doubts or its objections or its impositions. So there's different things you can do with the mind. You can ignore it. You can tell it to quiet, to shut it down. I found the most productive way how to deal with the mind is to give it something positive to do. If you tell the kid, sit down, be quiet, how long will you be successful? Not very long. But if you actually give the kid some positive engagement, then the kid all it wants is positive engagement. Wants something to do, something constructive to do. So you can invest all your mental faculty, all your emotions, all your thinking, feeling, willing into this Sankirtan process. That's samadhi, that's full absorption, it's complete dedication. That's the goal.
It helps to know the material also.
It does, because people will ask you questions. And you can say, yes, books in yoga meditation teach you how to get free from stress. What's that book? Book in yoga meditation teaches you how to free. What about that one? Yoga meditation teaches you how. Okay, I got the idea. Is there something else here? So it does help to have read at least the books you distribute. And even if you know nothing about nothing, you can just tell people, this is great. it works. It has helped me. I have a friend in Bali. His wife owns a hotel, and he's got a shop and a restaurant and a this and a that. And he just goes out to people and says, look, before I was a drunk, a gambler, and a woman hunter. And I read this book and it changed my life. I think you will learn a few things too. And people, they accept it. They say, this is honest, you know? He's not trying to be the big dude. I started this at 15. I dropped out of 9th grade and I went to distribute books. And I told people, hey, I'm a monk, you know? And people go like, does your mom know you're here? They're like, the cops would pick me up and, you know, they'd call my mom. You know, it was kind of funny. The old ladies would bring me chocolate and all those kind of things. But after a while I realized maybe go a little easy on the monk stuff, you know. And so I just told them, hey, I'm a student, you know. They looked at me to say, yeah, kid, he's a student. Yeah, we dig it. Okay. All right, yeah, we'll help you. We'll give you something. Yeah, it's good. So just roll on your level. Don't try to, you know, be something that you're not. And then as time progresses, you go through different phases in life. You know, initially I was a student, then as a monk, now I'm a teacher, dude. You know, it's however you feel, whatever your state of mind is, just communicate sincerely. That's what people are looking for. They want authenticity. They're sick and tired of all the propaganda, of all the lies, of all that stuff, because people are living in smart, you know? They're not stupid. They're smart. And they know whether the person is actually giving them the real thing, or they're just making up stuff as they go along, you know? So Sankirtan is what works. We can try so many things. And yes, we do have temples, farms, communities, we do other things, but Sankirtan, the congregational chanting and the distribution of the holy name is really what makes a difference, and it's the glue, it's what actually keeps everything together. Because if that's not going on, everything just falls apart, and things just become kind of meaningless. So you're here, you're in a good spot. Krishna has given you paradise. You got banana trees, you got fruits and flowers. You got more produce and things that you can, you know, that you can use. You got a beautiful temple and a farm. The beach is that way, you know, the mountains that way. You got the world at your doorstep. People are just walking by right out here. You don't have to travel the world. You can just walk down to the pier, you know. You'll meet everybody. Yet sometimes we're a little stuck in our own mental construct, and so we need to get out of that. And for that, it's important to see how there's a certain urgency. Prabhupada had a certain urgency. He had a certain drive. Like I have a certain drive, not just because I got to go to Yuma and, you know, up to Arizona and all, but you have to feel strongly about what it is that you would like to share with the world. And for that, it helps to develop your own appreciation. And that happens when you're actually reading the books on a daily basis. Then you read fantastic things, like in the last paragraph of the purport to 1010, Tesham Sata Yuktanam, Prabhupada says that you may be in a spiritual organization, you may have a spiritual master, but you may still not be able to get it, you know. But if you're sincere and you're rendering service with devotion, then the Lord in the heart will give you all the guidance, all the inspiration, and all the necessary facility to become successful. Now that's pretty cool, isn't it? Who is he talking about? He's talking about us. We're in a spiritual organization, we have spiritual teachers, but still sometimes, at least I, feel a little disconnected. I feel I'm not really achieving the goal, the objective. But, again, Prabhupada gives this assurance, if I'm serious, sincere, and I offer some service with love, then Krishna will actually bridge that gap and make me attain success. So if you don't read Prabhupada's books, you miss out on this stuff, you know. They're not just to look cool on the shelf, like, you know, when people do these Zoom classes, they have all these big libraries behind them. They look like, you know, super dude professor types. You can also just impose wallpaper, you know. You can just put that as a backdrop. But what does it mean? You have to actually read them. I know we're in a busy world, we live on our phones, we live in our minds, but the day has got 24 hours, so don't just get busy kicking a can down the road. Have a program how you read. And in this way you can read all the books regularly, and these things will actually sink in. And then you have many things that you can share with people in sutra form, in very short, essential forms, and it will actually have impact. You will have different types of things that you feel strongly about, and you'll communicate them in your own words, in your own language. And people go like, wow, where'd you get that from? Did you just make that stuff up? And you say, no, it's all there in the book. You know, you just get the book. So, other points? Yes.
I've heard in one of your talks in the past that you gave the comparison of a devotee who's trying to spread Krishna consciousness to be a person very much like a gardener, and that there's seeds and there's so much energy that goes into cultivating the seeds. So could you elaborate on that?
Well, that's coming from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, you know, the desire tree, that's Kalpavriksha. And the gardener or farmer, you know, sometimes people say, oh, we distributed so many books, now we should just, you know, just go and collect the fruits, right? But a gardener or a farmer, he does everything. He plows the land, he puts the seeds, he waters them, he takes out the weeds, and he harvests. It's an ongoing process. It's not that he only does one thing. And that's why it's important to see the bigger picture. So sometimes we get too caught up. Okay, let's just put a lot of books out there and collect the money. But then we don't really have the time to cultivate people, or to train people, or to engage people. It's kind of stupid, you know? Like, people are knocking on our doors, but we're not home. We're too busy doing other stuff. So, and sometimes people say, yeah, we don't have to put books out, you know, like there's enough books out there. We can just wait for somebody to show up and then we take care of them. But a farmer or a gardener, he does everything. Why? Because he's in touch with the cycle of nature. He's in touch with that earth frequency. And he knows what needs to be done. So there's a time for sowing, there's a time for cultivation, there's a time for harvest, there's a time for rest. Some people, they never rest, you know. And if you don't get a break, at some point you break, you know, because the body, the mind, it's a machine. It needs some rest in between. So learn how to be more in touch with that cycle, and you will see, you will be more, not just more productive, but you'll be more satisfied. You'll actually be more content. Okay? And also, Mahaprabhu, he said, I'm a gardener. I have so many fruits, but I can't distribute them all. So build your team. It's a big world out there. There's 8 billion people. You can't reach them all. Even if you make some noise on social media and you get a couple of clicks, what's the point? How much impact do you actually have? It's statistically proven that you cannot know more than 150 people. Like know, you know, like be really in the know. And you can actually train about 10 or a dozen. That's why Jesus, how many disciples he had? Any Christians here?
12.
12, yeah. That's about what you can handle. And one headmaster used to have thousands and thousands of students. How was it possible? He had 10 or 12 intimate disciples who he really trained. And those would take care of the others, and the others would take care of the newcomers. And in this way, it became thousands and tens of thousands. So don't try to be everything to everybody, but build your team and invest into building that team. And then you'll see Krishna will send people. There's plenty of good people walking around as we speak, looking for where is their opportunity to make a difference. You see, we're not selling a product. We're not moving some ink and paper here. We're giving people an opportunity. People are not looking for stuff. You can buy stuff on Amazon, you know. You can get it shipped to your door. People are looking for opportunities. They're looking for how to make a difference. And that's the opportunity that we want to give them. That's the Sankirtan experience. Because when you are connected to the internal potency, and you see how Krishna does the magic, and he takes this person who before was totally off-center, was completely out in the dark, and he just flips the light switch, you know. They're like, ring, da-da, the lights go on, you know. They're like, hey, yeah, this is it, okay, I'm with you. And you're able to witness that moment when the soul, for the first time in eons, again turns towards Krishna, and actually reconnects, and you see that little love story that's again, flaring up. They're like, wow, yeah, this is beautiful, man. I was looking for this. And I can tell you thousands of stories, but times is short. I want you to have your own stories, you see. That's why I'm narrating these little anecdotes. So I want you, each and every one of you, to have your own experiences when Krishna does the magic, because people will come up. I was in Bangkok, Thailand, on Khao San Road, which is the main tourist drag, and I met a couple from the Yukai, or Yokai in the Yukai, and they looked like average Joe and Jane, and the girl, she went like, hey, you won't believe it. I woke up this morning in my hotel room and I thought, I need to read the Bhagavad Gita. And boom, here is the Bhagavad Gita. And I say, girl, you got to be careful what you wish for, because this stuff will happen. Boom. And the book just showed up. So everyone's looking for something. They're looking for Krishna, ultimately. They don't know it's Krishna. But what are they looking for? They're looking for beauty, they're looking for fame, they're looking for strength, they're looking for knowledge. So actually they're looking for Krishna. And we got Krishna, because Krishna in his merciful incarnation as the Bhagavatam, he appeared. How many people go to temple, churches, and mosques to worship? It's a very small percentage in comparison. But Krishna has appeared as the Bhagavatam in his book form. And it's so attractive, it's so accessible. All people have to do is open up the book and read. Even if they don't read, they will appreciate, and somebody else will read. So it's a yagya, it's a sacrifice, which means you have to put in a little endeavor. There will be some resistance, there will be a bit of struggle. There's some mental static that has to be overcome. But it's purifying. It's purifying. You're churning your heart, because you have to actually let go of our pretentiousness, of our false ego, our false sense of self. We have to give it up. And that's a very good thing. Don't worry, it'll come back. So if you're worried that, I'm going to lose my mojo, I'm not going to be the dude anymore. No, don't worry about it. The modes are out there. It's always available. Other questions? So the main thing is doing it consistently, So you can have a book table down there, or somebody can mosey around. You can do harinams. You can go to different parks and places. You can do it online. But especially connecting to the students, to the intelligent class. Because those are the ones who really can make a difference. They haven't given up on their life yet. Yes, we can sell stuff to tourists, and they have money, they have disposable income. But they kind of already made up their mind. They already kind of lived their life. They're in a bonus track. So try to interact with the youth. There's plenty of them. And I'm not just talking about students. I'm also talking about the skater kids. I'm also talking about the surfer kids. I'm also talking about whoever else is out there, There's a lot of people, because this is the end of the road. Have you noticed? This is the end of the road. There's nowhere to go. There's water out there. So, like in Venice Beach, there's a lot of driftwood. There's people who just don't know where to head in life. And they just got here. And guess what? Krishna is already here. And he says, hi, how are you doing today? And you can catch him in different ways, Prasadam is a big thing. Distribute tons of prasad. And make the programs accessible. So it's not too much lingo. It's not too much Indian spicing and chili with motor oil, but it's something that they can actually digest, something that's actually agreeable to their. And then their only question is, hey, dude, how can I become like you? Is there a chance? So there's great scope for the Sankirtan movement, but Sankirtan means team play, and team play is the toughest thing. Like to pass the ball. You all been playing ball, right? You know how it is. You have people who are quite expert, quite skilled, but they just can't play that pass, And then they fumble, they stumble, they grumble, and the whole thing just, disintegrates. So you got to learn how to pass. You got to learn how to be a team player, And that's why we're here. That's why we're having this little group gathering, because you know, the people you live with are probably the people you're going to die with. So get used to the idea and learn how to connect with the people who are actually there in your vicinity. You can always dream and imagine, oh yeah, you know, somewhere, someplace it's going to happen. But no, you're going to make it happen now. Otherwise, why would Krishna give you more than that? So this place, you could have 100 people here, you know, easily. You're in the spot. I mean, this is prime location. And right now, we're probably running at about 10 to 15% of capacity. And we can blame it on you know, on the former, the current, or the future presidents, or we can blame it on the pandemic, or on, you know, we didn't get that cookie when we were in grade school. Or we can say, hey, I'm going to be part of the solution. What do you rather have, tragedy or opportunity? So right now, you have the carte blanche. You have the open invitation to go up to anybody and ask them, how you doing? How's things going for you this time? It's okay, right? So you can just connect with anybody and then give them something, and you'll be surprised that people are actually open. They're actually receptive. They're a little bit more sensitive and sensible at the moment. I'm not saying it's going to stay that way, because as things are opening up, you know, the madness is again ramping up, and the noise will increase, and you will hear a lot of different types of vibration out here, as you have noticed already previously, right? So never waste a good crisis, you know. Yeah, it's a crisis. We're understaffed, we're overworked, but never waste a good crisis. So right now, there is people who are literally out of job, out of home, out of luck, and they're at the end of the road. But there's an opportunity. So make connection and give people that opportunity. That's Sankirtan. So you're in the right place, doing the right thing. Just keep doing it, and you can have traveling parties, you can have, you know, all different kinds of projects related to here. But we got to be team players. You see, Prabhupada said Krishna can give you the whole world in 18 days. He gave it to the Pandavas, the whole world. But we can't even, you know, manage what we got. So why would Krishna want to embarrass us and give us more, right? So we first got to make this work. And that means that we, like Prabhupada, he treated all these stoned, crazed, and mad hippies, he treated them like the future leaders of the Hare Krishna movement. And you know what happened? Guess what happened? They became the future leaders of the Hare Krishna movement. Pretty scary thought, eh? And history tends to repeat itself. So don't see the deficiency, see the opportunity. Every person has the potential. Of course, we're not just going to the street and we're you know, inviting the people who sleep on the beach. We're extending this opportunity to everybody. And again, the schools, they will open up again, but the students are around, you know, they're around, and they're available. We just got to connect and make it attractive. Like Alakanta Prabhu in Gainesville, he's got the Krishna House, and in other places also, there is what we call halfway houses or ashrams, where there's people who work or study and participate in morning programs. It can be done. But it's all based on the books. Everything. The books are the basics. This is the foundation. So invest in yourself. This is the most important time in your life. Invest in yourself. Don't try to do shortcuts. Don't compromise on the foundation. Now you see sometimes in Asia, you know, buildings who are like this, you know, because somebody had the fabulous idea that, what, you know, 20% of the construction goes into the ground. You never see it. But if you don't do it, you will notice it later on. So in a similar way, daily invest into your foundation by reading, by chanting, by doing the morning program. You think you can just show up for breakfast? Yes, you can. but you're missing out on some foundational aspects. And see it more as a team play. How can I set you up for success? How can I make that pass so you can score? And that will create a whole different chemistry in our relationships, in our gameplay, and in the result that's actually going to happen. So that's what I wanted to share here. If there's any practical questions or any other topics you wanted me to touch on. Actually, just getting people to buy the book is an easy thing, you know. People ask me all the time. I say, I just befriend them, you know. I just make them to like me, because if you have friends, then you just want to do what pleases them. It's simple. It's very easy. But you find out what works for you, you know. Some of you will be funny, some will be bold, some will be humble, some will be just be you. And Krishna, the Lord in the heart, He will inspire you to do the magic. But you got to work for it. It's not, oh yeah, I distributed a book last year, you know. I want each and every one of you, when you walk out that door, you carry 3 or 5 small books in your pocket. That's your homework. That's the price for this seminar. And I guarantee you, money back guarantee from this seminar, your life will never be the same. Because you won't go out into the world and see, oh, nice, not nice, nice, not nice, because that's how the mind works, right? Accepting, rejecting, sankalpa, vikalpa. Nice car, nice body, nice clothes, nice this, nice that. But when you go out and you carry books in your pocket, you're looking, where is my recipient of Krishna's mercy? How can I talk to this person? How can I make a connection? And you start, you start just communicating and handing out books. And believe it or not, every day, without even going on SanDiego, you can do 5 or 10 books. Have you tried? Have you done it? No, I'm too busy, I got a million things to do. No. When a person is nice at a store or somewhere, just give them a book. I walked into a health food store in Santa Barbara where my friend Sarvama Prabhu was regularly shopping. And I just appreciated. And the lady said, oh, traveling monk, okay. And she gave me a whole box of, dry fruits and nuts and carrot juice and whatnot. And I gave her a Bhagavad Gita. I said, this is for your yoga practice. How did you know that I do yoga? Written all over you. Santa Barbara. So, these are simple things. Prabhupada was a book distributor. He came with these books, and whoever he met, he gave him the books. And that's how he maintained himself. That's how he rolled, with whatever he got from distributing books. So it's an honest life, it's an honorable life, it's a frugal life. It will keep you on the straight and narrow. Yeah, you may say, I got money in my pocket, I got plastic, what do I care? But that's not an exciting life. That's a boring life. The exciting life is if you go out and you trust Krishna, that Krishna will make it happen. You say, Krishna, I want to see the miracle. Show me the miracle. And believe it or not, he does. Each and every day. He'll send you people who say, dude, you don't know how much I've been looking for this. I was in Urban Park in Houston, and there was a couple, young professionals, African Americans, in their full sports suit. And usually not your when they go jogging and stuff, it's not your usual clientele, right? But they were just like, you don't know how much we've been interested in looking for this. And it took a few books. So people are out there. The question is, where are we? Are we stuck in our mental loop? Are we stuck in survival mode? Have we given up on life at the bright old age of 23? Or if you think you're done, dude. Huh? Are you still excited about life, or are you just waiting for a slow, painful death? I mean, you tell me. I'm 53 and I feel the best years are yet to come. I'm fully convinced of it. I've been doing this for almost 4 decades, and it's been pretty blissful. I was just another punk kid, and I wanted to meet amazing people, travel the world, and become the best at what I do. And Krishna will exceed all your desires and expectations, and will make you laugh about them. He'll give you the world, and then he'll take it all away and give you himself. And that's a very interesting and a very rewarding type of experience. So thanks for joining the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and considering this an opportunity, a viable option. Right now, usually people, they're not so much into joining religions or, becoming monks, etc. There's a few exceptions. But if you know how to frame it and you know how to present it, you'd be surprised that actually everyone's looking for monk mode. Huh? You'd be surprised. Guys talking in their forums, yeah, what about celibacy? What about abstinence, Because they know there's actually some validity. There's actually something to it. Huh? This whole mode of goodness thing. So we got the goods. Let us collaborate to make them available. And that means you have regular gatherings, at least once a week or once a fortnight, where you get together and you discuss strategy. What works, what didn't work, what can be improved. And you're open to feedback. You don't fight back. If somebody tells you, that dish was way too spicy, or that was just not on the spot, or, we should maybe have a little better way of communicating the message. Walk into the front door sometimes. Pretend you're a newcomer. Does it look like, what does it look like? Does it look tight, or does it look like some, you fill in the blanks, right? For us, it just become same old, same old. We may be colorblind, but just put the hat on, like pretend you're a new guy. What's the interaction? Call your local temple. See if somebody picks up, right? See if you get a response. Because that's what people experience. So, reflections. You're a pretty good team here, and you have ample opportunity. Consider everybody a member of your team, even if they've proven themselves otherwise. Prabhupada gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. He had x-ray vision. He saw people's shortcomings. Shyamasundar was carving the first Jagannath deities, and he was still smoking. So Prabhupada came in the apartment on Haight, and on the head of Jagannath was a pack of Pall Mall. And he took his cane and he flicked it off. And Shyamasundar was scared that Prabhupada would chastise him. And Prabhupada just said, don't let this little thing, this cigarette, come between you and Krishna. Now, okay, you're smoking, but just reduce every day one cigarette. And then when you're down, then you're done. You stop. And because Shyamasundar felt so much love and acceptance and encouragement, he stopped that very moment. He gave it up. So yeah, we've been rolling around the material world. We've acquired a few bad habits. It can happen, If you sleep with the dogs, you may get a few lice. But through this process of bhakti, we can overcome our own insecurity, our own shortcomings, our own deficiencies. So, the books are here. The people are here. Now, even if you don't have a full day to spend, you can just walk down there. You just go on your daily walk, because you need to exercise. Otherwise, atrophy sets in, and the earth sucks you back into the ground. So go on a walk every day, smile at people, say Hare Krishna. Be surprised, the world smiles back at you. People say, where have you been, dude? We've been looking for you. What happened? Oh, don't worry, it's okay, we're back, right? So, put yourself out there. And I guarantee you, your life will never be the same. Be a giver. Be a giver. Everybody wants somebody on their team who's a giver. So, and you may say, I don't have anything to give. That's not true. Not just all these spiritual items that we have, but if you can give people the gift of your undivided attention, that's the greatest gift you can give to anybody. Because the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. You can use that little mantra, blows them away. They're like, wow, that's deep. Yeah, well, it's right from the, it's there. It's all there in the book. And thank people. Show your appreciation. Thanks for being out here. One time I was distributing books in Veve. on the Lake of Geneva, which is the headquarters of Nestle, the biggest food conglomerate in the world. And it was December marathon. It was snowing and raining at the same time. Now you guys don't know what snow is here, right? But you know it's that white cold stuff that falls from the sky, you know, makes driving and other things a little difficult. And it was raining at the same time, and it was a very strong wind chill. So I tried to hold an umbrella, but the umbrella would just poof, you know, it would just blow away. So I just realized it's going to be one of those days. So I'm just going to be wet and cold. In about 15 minutes, I was drenched, soaked. But it was marathon, which means there's no question of holding back. Because if you miss one day, you lose the competition. We were very competitive. So I ran around that big parking lot for 8 hours. And when people would park, they would just jump out and run to a store. So before they got out, I was there knocking on their window, and they open a little bit. And I say, "Thank you for being out here today. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" And they're like, "Who's this dude?" And so today, for all the nice people, we brought some special surprise. Ta-da! And put the books in there. And I did 300 Mahabig and Big books. Yes, it was cold. Yes, it was wet. But Krishna can always bridge that gap when we see the opportunity. So here people are a little conditioned by, you know, the goodness and the niceness of the environment, but still there's suffering, there's struggle, there's difficulty. So put your heads and your hats together and your hearts together, and you will see how when Krishna sees that we agreed to play ball, that we agreed to do Sankirtan, that we agreed to cooperate, Krishna will manifest. And that's very beautiful. It's very attractive. It's actually irresistible. And that's why we've come here, to experience that. So don't change yourself short and withdraw in your own little corner or in your own little mindset and say, yeah, I'm here, I know how the game works, and I'm just, you know, gonna do my own little thing. But try to open up and appreciate each other, and I guarantee you this project will become packed out with people. Some of you have experienced it, right? You had here quite a lot of people, and it was pretty vibrant. So it's been done before, it can happen again. It's just a matter of agreeing on the game plan and then executing it. Right now we have a great opportunity, not just with this pandemic, but also I see that especially there's new demographics which are super interested in spirituality at the moment, believe it or not, which formerly was not so much the case. Not so much the case. So take advantage of that and make yourself available to those communities. You see, in some parts of our movement, we're mostly dealing with people from Indian background or whatever is the local norm. But here, you got the world. Everyone's here. So make it relatable. Make that connection. And show them that this is your temple, this is your opportunity. Me today, I'm gone. You tomorrow, you're gone. Maybe he, day after tomorrow, he's gone. So then who's going to do it? That means pass the ball. Empower others. Thank you for your hospitality, your attention, and your kind interest. And make a plan. Don't leave it up to management. Oh, nobody told me how to do this, you know. I'm just following orders. I'm just a robot. Do it. I got news for you. If you know what to do, this is a very great opportunity. If you don't know what to do, not too many people will tell you. Because right now it's really up to the individual to take initiative and to step up to the plate, so to speak. Because it's a voluntary thing. And in a volunteer organization, we don't really have that much leverage to force people to do things that they don't want to do. But unconditional love is the greatest is the strongest force. And if we feel that love coming from the Guru Parampara, from Krishna, then what is our buy-in? Well, how can I take a little bit of that burden on my shoulder? How can I help Prabhupada to spread this mission? Prabhupada stayed up every night. From midnight to about 3 in the morning, he would translate. And he wrote 6 pages every night. Can you imagine? He gave his sleep to give us these books. Now I know some of you are austere, some of you are very frugal, etc., etc. How many of you have given up sleep? I doubt it's too many. We still want our beauty sleep, right? So the mind knows, I'm going to take my nap. It's all there, right? It's plain. Prabhupada sacrificed his sleep to give us these books. So feel a little bit of that sacrifice and connect with it, and you will see it's a very powerful taste, and it's very attractive because people want something that money can't buy. So that detachment combined with unconditional love is the magic. It's the magic formula. And that's why people are attracted to Krishna. And that's why they're attracted to spiritual teachers. So thank you very much. And please, the day's 24 hours and the 7 days in the week. So to just say, we got the Sunday program, and we do a little something on Thursday too, but try to find ways of how to cultivate different gatherings. Like I saw now, especially, and many of my friends and colleagues have told me that our African American friends, brothers and sisters, they're very, very, very ripe and very interested in spirituality and yoga, meditation, and Krishna consciousness. So, do we have something for them? I think we do. But maybe we need to discuss a little bit how we can make it more attractive, how we can make it more relevant, how we can make it more accessible. Because sometimes, like you do Harinam, just to give you an example. You go on Harinam. Have you ever seen that? The devotees, they form a circle and they dance facing their backs to the public, and they just look inwards and they do like that mosh pit, that little puddle. And it looks kind of like, right? Who are these guys, And other times they line up and they face the public and they chant and dance and make eye contact. Different type of an experience, isn't it? Now, one thing you can do in the temple room, and you do the, let's kick it, and that kind of thing. But you have to know what's the setting, so you can actually make that connection. Same thing, you're at the book table and you just, do your own stuff, but you have to actually connect with people. You have to actually look at them and be a friendly face and connect with them. So these are some basic pointers. The rest comes in your practice. Krishna will send you. He will send you all the opportunities. I see there's, a lot going on. You got construction, you got maintenance, you got just keeping things going. So delegate, build your team. Don't think that you have to do it all, because it's just involve more people. Build your team. And then you can move unlimited amounts of books. Like you can see at ISV, just up the road in Mountain View, there is 0 brahmacharis. There is 0 resident devotees. It's all householders. Yet they're doing quite a bit because they learn how to use what they have. So you use your potential and your demographics here. And I think that the location is really spectacular. It's unbeatable. And you can really take advantage of that, because you can literally walk people just down the block to the temple and sit in, if you do a little prasadam program here, some lunch program, whatever it is, At Soho in London, they would have a daily lunch program. People just come in for a short talk, short kirtan, and prasad, just for about an hour, just lunch break. So people, even from their offices, from the schools, they would come for that. They made many devotees there, just because they had that little lunch thing going on for years. And then there was devotees there who would just sit down with the prospective candidates and just talk with them. Are you cultivating people? Are you taking their contacts when you go out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do they show up?
Yes.
Keep it up. Keep it up. I know you're already doing all that stuff, you know. I'm just rapping. I'm just talking about it.
We just made these contact cards recently.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw those.
Yeah, there's different techniques. The main thing is they want a consistent experience. They want to meet you again. So before you hand them over to somebody else, or just put them on the MailChimp, you know, keep them close, at least for a couple of interactions before you turn them over to something else. All right, Hari Om Tat Sat.
His Grace Navina Nirada Prabhu ki
Jai.
Vrinda ki
Jai.
jai, Shishirada Giridhari ki
Jai.
jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhuti Devi ki
Jai.
jai, Shri Govikai ki jai,
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Yeah, so regularly have these powwows. Make brainstorm ideas and try to improve your outreach. Krishna will give you the intelligence how to do that. And everybody should try to take ownership, because proprietorship turns sand into gold. Krishna consciousness is not a spectator sport. It's not something you can play on a phone, you know, on a remote control. But you have to actually apply yourself. So we give people this opportunity, and the most powerful experiences, I remember myself, when you go out on chanting party, you distribute prasad, you help with the Bhakti Sibhushan, you can actually see this thing works, you know. This thing actually works. It's not just a theory, it's actually reality. So that's what we owe to people that experience. And they can cultivate, continue it by themselves. What's that? Trees?
That's upside down, but yeah.
Okay. Could also be a fork for some pasta, right? Huh?
I was saying it looks like a multi-legged giraffe with its head in the trees.
A multi-legged giraffe.
Giraffe with its head in the trees.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. To be continued. So have this thing regularly, and different people can speak about their experiences and what worked for them, and share their stories. And in this way, you keep it going. Do you have Sankirtan meetings on a regular basis?
We just started something on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regular training sessions and mentorship.
Yeah. We used to have it back home in Zurich every Sunday, just for an hour. Not a big thing. Just to touch base, you know, and share the Good News Action broadcast. Also some questions, some difficulties, and just make sure we're, like you see many companies, many bigger stores, before they open, they get together and they have a little, you know, they have a little huddle where they make sure people are on the same page, so to speak. All right,
Prabhu,